Hey everybody and welcome. Thank you for joining us as we wrap up Pack Expo Connects. We're really excited to show you our flagship LX-150 full body shrink sleeve applicator alongside our WSN self-contained boiler shrink tunnel. Okay, so what we've got here is a full body shrink sleeve application system. And you would use a shrink sleeve label if you're looking to replace a pre-printed container, or if you're looking to replace a pressure sensitive label. What you're able to do with a shrink sleeve is get 360 degrees of marketing to really make your product pop off the shelf. Okay, so again, what we've got here is our flagship 150, and we're gonna run it for you, showcase what we're doing, and then we'll talk about it a little bit later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the timing screw here, and as you can see, that's gonna start the machine. So in this situation, we've got twin packs of sunscreen coming through. As you can see, that applicator is hitting a moving target by applying that label, bouncing off the conveyor, as you can see, which means that we've got great sizing on that label. The brush down is gonna knock everything down to make sure we're in the right spot. And then we're gonna enter our self-contained steam tunnel. And this is really where the magic is happening. Okay, so what we just did essentially was take two containers that were separate, corral them together, put a band around it, and now we're able to have a twin pack. Now, twin packs, if you go to a Target, if you go to your Walmart, if you go to a Costco, you're gonna see twin packs everywhere. They're really, really popular right now. This machine gives you the ability to do a twin pack, but you're not limited to a twin pack. What this thing also does, as you can see here, this film has a perforation on it. I can remove the perf and show you the container. Okay, so this container, the individuals were also done with the exact same LX-150 shrink sleeve applicator. All we had to do was change out the mandrel, the timing screw, and the film, and we were able to run both products in both orientations on the same unit. So again, I like to call this a co-packer's dream because it adds so much flexibility and so much customization that you're able to take on new clients. You're able to do new things in a fun, interesting way, which we're seeing a lot of right now. I mean, you can't go to Target without seeing shrink sleeves everywhere. And I challenge you to go to Target and take a look at the beverage aisles, take a look at some of the different cleaning products that you're gonna see, and you're gonna see shrink sleeves everywhere. I like to think of it as kind of like the red pickup truck. Once you see it for the first time and you start talking about it, you're gonna see them everywhere on the highway. So again, make sure you got your eyes open when you go to the grocery store, you go to a convenience store, to learn more about shrink sleeves and see where they're popping up in the industry. We'll talk about a few industries where we're seeing the action right in a little bit, but right now I'm going to talk about the value and the feature of this LX-150. This LX-150 is a feature-rich machine. Now, when I say feature-rich machine, there are a lot of components in this unit that come standard. Now, not every manufacturer is going to provide all of these components standard, but I really want to hammer home on the things that we're going to provide. The first piece that's going to be in this puzzle is going to be our dual film unwind. Now, why would you want a dual film unwind? This applicator has the capacity to go extremely fast. So we can get to 300 containers a minute on this. That allows the operator to load up their next roll of labels. Now, they may be running the same labels. They may be switching horses and going to a different SKU. This is going to give them that ability. This table right here can act as a splice table. So it's an easy changeover to change the labels, change the SKUs. You can change watermelon to cherry in a matter of minutes. So really, really cool application, cool feature that comes standard with us. Again, you can notice that this is separate from the machine. This is heavy duty, that's the real deal. As the film travels through, we'll continue with the path. We'll go through our dancer system. What this is gonna do is it's gonna maintain tension of that film and allow for efficient and effective application as it gets to its final resting place. Okay, at the top, you can see we've got some wiggle room to add some customizable features up there. So if you want to put a perforation unit, if you want to put a thermal transfer overprint printer up there for date codes, lot codes, there's a lot of different options that we can add to the top of this machine and then wire through to our PLC. So a couple different things we can do there. However, I really want to talk about these pieces that are inside of here because these are going to be the most important pieces. So if you want to step around here, Josh, important feature of the LX-150 is going to be our bullet style mandrel. Okay, the bullet style mandrel is the vessel that's going to transport the film to the container. So it's hard to see in this situation because we've got film So if you can imagine, here's a naked mandrel. We've got no film on it, but it's going to show you exactly what the mandrel's doing. So at the top here, if you want to zoom in, and give Josh Nelson a round of applause. He's been manning the camera for the past 5 days, and we appreciate his work. He's doing great stuff. So if you can imagine, that's going to open up that film. That's going to allow it to travel down the mandrel. There's a series of drive wheels in here, bearings, drive wheels there. Maintain tension. That's going to keep you running as smooth as possible with a great application. To continue down, it's the next part of the machine that's included. So discuss the dual film aligned as well as mandrel, two key components to this application system. They're included with the system. The third piece is going to be cutting assembly. So the cutting assembly is where we're taking this film from a roll stock and we're creating an individual impression. So it's covered right now with this housing, but if you can imagine, there are 6 blades inside of here that you can get at the Home Depot that are going to move in synchronization, excuse me, to cut that band. That band is then going to be suspended, which we can see as a pre-cut band. The force from the roll is going to apply pressure to the next label. That's going to shoot down. We're going to hit a moving target, and that's how we're going to be off and running. So again, now we've got 3 pieces. We've got the dual film unwind. We've got the mandrel. We've got the cutting assembly. The fourth piece go with the application is the timing screw assembly. The timing screw assembly is going to be your spacing device. That's going to make sure that your bottles are spaced out, that they're coming in the correct orientation as they're introduced to the applicator. So in this situation, we've got dual timing screws. Now I'm going to start it. We'll go through this and we'll get into the shrink tunnel, and I'm going to discuss the final piece of the puzzle that is included. So if you watch here, all I'm going to do is activate the timing screw. And you can see here that will engage the timing screw. The timing screw is going to group these 2 containers together. And now we're hitting a moving target. Okay, so the final piece that I want to hammer home on is the label brush down. So the label brush down is a series of wipes that are going to make sure that that label drops down flush to the conveyor. So you've got perfect placement and you've got what you want. Okay, really, really critical spot. At the end of the day, we end up with this. It's a great segue into our self-contained steam unit here. So this is our WSN-Gen S steam tunnel. We have 2 versions of this. This, what you're looking at right now, is this is the beast, is what I like to call it. You're going to get 20 feet of machine, 10 feet of machine, an additional 10 feet of conveyance. We can do just the standard tunnel, which, if you can imagine, would end off, cut off about right here. A really cool option. Again, there's 2. We have the extended and we have the standard. I like to think of it, the standard stops here. The extended is going to have that extra 10 feet of conveyance. What's cool about this is that we've got the self-contained boiler down here. All right, so traditionally you would need to have a boiler on the outside of your facility. You would need to plumb in the steam, which can get extremely expensive, labor intensive, and messy. We've taken all of that out of the equation here with our self-contained unit. To operate this machine, all you're going to need is the electricity and a garden hose. Seriously, all you're going to need is a garden hose. You can go to the Home Depot and pick one up, and you're going to be able to operate this machine. So bang for your buck, we're talking about an additional 10 feet of conveyance. We're talking about a self-contained unit with the boiler here. That's hard to beat for the price that we're coming in at. Now, why would you want to use a steam tunnel? I typically lead people down the path of a steam tunnel when they have a printed container. So if you have a printed container, I like to describe steam as 360 degrees of shrink. So you are getting 360 degrees of shrink at any given time. Whereas our dry tunnels, which we'll get into in a little bit here, are more directing the airflow, and you're going to see more distortion wherever that may be directed. So again, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds on that, but I do want to showcase that what we have here is a top of the line solution. It's going to give you great shrink, extremely flexible, extremely versatile, a unit that we're really excited about. Now, end of the game here, we've got our accumulation table. We make a 36 and a 48-inch accumulation table, full stainless top, painted bottom, a lot of different options. It doesn't need to be and this is a great corral station to make sure that you've got everything in one spot. So if you need it to dry off out of the steam tunnel a little bit, great solution. On the flip side, if you want to put that on the front of the line, it's a great solution to have things stage prepped so that when they enter the conveyor, you're off and running. Okay, so that's what we got here. Now I'm getting some funny. I'm gonna go off script here because what we've got on our floor right now is extremely unique and it's awesome. So I want to showcase what we've got in terms of our other equipment that's here right now. So what we've got here is our LX-100 series model. Where the 150 can get up to about 300 pieces a minute, this tops out at about 80 pieces a minute, okay? So it's more of that crawl, walk, run. If you're a startup, this is your entry-level model. It's a lot more simple on the inside, not as feature-rich, but at the end of the day, it's going to give you a solution that's similar, if not identical, to what you would get on your LX-150. It's just a slower operation, a slower mode of transportation, so to speak. As you can see here, mandrels, cutting assemblies, brush downs, a lot of the same things are included. And I really want to highlight it. Again, you guys took the time to come here, so I'd be foolish not to show you everything that we've got. The 150 may be too fast, the 100 may be too slow. It may not be what you're looking for, but I want to do the due diligence of showing you what we got. We'll finish off with the ES-200 dry heat tunnel. So if steam is not an option, which we just covered with our previous line, the ES-200 is a great solution for a full body shrink without bringing steam in. Now, why wouldn't you bring steam in? Let's say you've got a protein powder or you've got a product that's very sensitive to moisture, water. We're able to counteract the effects of steam with this dry heat in a nice package. So again, the ES-200 is a great, great unit. And now finally, another one that we're seeing a lot of movement on, especially with COVID and safety and security, is our CH-100. So our CH-100 is our tamper evident applicator. All we're doing on the CH-100 is this neck band. So if you can zoom in here. So again, I know we're kind of drinking through the fire hose here, and I'm gonna bring things back around to the 150, but I really wanted to show you what we got. Obviously, we've got the Cadillac here. If you need the Cadillac, we got it for you, but we're not limited to that. We've got the LX-100 for more of an entry level, and we even go above the Cadillac to get to the Ferrari Lamborghini talk with our LX-350. If you need to get to 500 pieces a minute, 600 pieces a minute, that LX-350 has those capabilities. What I'm trying to say is that we have a full line of solutions for whatever your needs may be. You may not be fitting in this market right now. This may be somewhere to move into. That being said, we've got a solution for you. Okay, I'm gonna run this one more time, showcase it, give you guys a little a description to finally show you what we're doing. And I'm gonna activate the screw. You know what, before I do that, this leads me to a nice part. One of the nice parts about this PLC on this machine is we're able to store some recipes. So if you're changing over from 12 ounce to a 16 ounce to an 8 ounce, we've got the ability to take into account for some of those measurements and make some of those adjustments on the fly. So it's really got a recipe situation going on in there where we can click a couple buttons, boom, we're off and running with our next size. So that being said, I'm gonna run this. We'll run these cans out and I'll see if there are any other questions that are gonna pop up here. How many people got on the line? 16. Thank you guys for joining us again. So here you go. You're going to see that application. That photo eye is going to trigger. That's going to let the applicator know to drop the next one on. We're going to pass through. We're going to get that knocked down. Now we got clean, perfect placement. As we travel through the steam tunnel, nice part about the steam tunnel is we've got 4 adjustable manifolds, easily accessible to adjust the shrink height. If we want to start towards the bottom and move towards the top for a container, say like this, where we need more shrink, we've got some customization. We have some adjustability inherently in the machine to account for that. So again, I know that that's a lot of information. You guys have probably been sitting at virtual trade shows all week, so we really appreciate you guys taking the time on a Friday, a Masters Friday nonetheless, with Tiger in the Hunt to spend the day with us. So I'll take a look and see if there are any questions, but I think I'm running out of time. We got any questions over there, Brad? So the question was the voltages that these are available in, 220, 480. Really just let us know what your facility needs, and then we'll figure out what we can provide for you. So that's my last second.